Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. Samantha and I are here with bells on. We're very happy to be with you. Hi, Samantha.
Hi, Erica. Super happy to be here.
So today, you guys, we thought we would talk about something that's been coming up a lot, and I've been seeing a lot in all of my clients and patients and friends, and we've talked about it a little bit, but I think it deserves some more discussion. And that topic is deep wounds and trauma that has been sitting within our system for years and years. And right now, so many of us are experiencing it coming right back up to be dealt with again, because now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to just even bring awareness that that's what's happening. A lot of people don't even recognize that pain or those feelings or the anxiety or the nervousness or the stomach aches or the kinks that's energetic. And often it's from trauma, from wounding, from pain, from parts of ourselves that we've denied or rejected or shamed and disowned. And that's here for us to look at and for us to unwind and to clear and heal.
Yeah. And I've also been seeing people who have had these experiences and traumas, and they've thought that they had dealt with it. They had done a lot of counseling, they'd done a lot of work. And so they thought it was just, they weren't experiencing it so much in everyday life. And so they thought they'd handled it. And now it's coming back up, and it's like with a vengeance. Yeah. And so one thing I want people to know is that if you're experiencing this right now, you are not alone. There are so many of us going through this right now. And so you're not alone, and definitely reach out to your friends and just talk. If this is what's going on, you got to get it out. You don't want it to stay in there and fester any longer.
Yeah. The one thing with talking to your friends that I have to say is make sure that they're the right kind of friends. Because a lot of people, you'll say something and then they'll diminish you, right? Oh, well, that's no big deal. Like, mine's worse. Or, well, yeah, at least you have this. Or, yeah, well, at least you didn't die of corona. Or, yeah, well, like, maybe you just need to get over it. Or, well, have you talked to your doctor about that? Like, that, it's really important to have people that know how to hold space for you, that can ask questions and allow you to go deeper into yourself without deflecting or deterring or diminishing what you're experiencing.
Yeah, really, really good point. Pick the right friend to talk to, the one that's going to be supportive. And not diminishing any of your feelings. And that's really important, because it doesn't matter what your feelings are. They're valid.
Yeah. And so when you're feeling something, or somebody that is feeling something, the way that you can really be supportive, rather than just, oh, it's going to be okay, or like, no, that's not enough, coddling or diminishing, it's really opening up that space to say, wow, okay, well, would you like to tell me more about that? Yeah, how does that make you feel? How's that showing up for you? Okay, well, what would you like to experience instead? And well, like asking these questions that are non-judgmental and that are just compassionate, it really creates the space for yourself potentially to have those answers emerge, or for the people that you're supporting to allow them to feel safe to explore what's going on for them in the container of love and compassion. And that's really where the healing is. It's not diverting or distracting or numbing or stuffing away. It's breathing into it, and it's feeling the feelings so that there can be healing to those feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think one of those good questions that for anyone, for themselves to ponder, especially when it's an older trauma that's coming back up, is what have I learned from this? What has this experience taught me? And if you can't think of anything, or there's just bitterness or anger still, that's the reason why it's coming back up, because there was something that needed to be learned from this experience, and it has to be learned. And so that's the reason why it's coming back up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one for me.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a few days ago I was very triggered, and I like to think I'm pretty calm and I'm pretty peaceful. I'm pretty centered. I'm really quite grounded. I wasn't always this way. However, my ex-partner, he just knows how to show up and trigger me endlessly and I really got to see how there were just obviously things that were not harmonized and neutralized because I was triggered, and I just lost my shit all over the place. And it was really powerful, because the effect of that was I had a really bad stomach ache, and I was just festering in the feelings of this like resentment I had. And I realized, wow, okay, I resent him. Yes. And I also resent myself, and I'm blaming myself, and I feel guilty, and there's judgment, and all these waves of emotion coming up. And, it's here for a reason, because if I'm experiencing it, it means it's still in my body. The energy is still there. And that's an opportunity for deeper healing and clearing and learning. Like you said, well, what's this lesson? What am I meant to learn here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that Carolyn May's saying where she talks about turning our woes into wisdom. And that is the best path. They could stay woes our entire life if we let them, but we can turn them into wisdom, and that wisdom can help others. And that's when it's really beautiful. That way you can turn around and actually be grateful for awful traumatic experiences. And I know that sounds weird, but you can find the gratitude in it, and the love for yourself, and the appreciation for how you have grown,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of times we won't grow without it, or get to that place as fast. Yeah,
exactly. You're so right. And I feel it's really important to talk about the challenges that we've gone through, to talk about the trauma, because there's so much shame and there's so much, it's like taboo to talk about the challenging times, and people just want to hide and keep in the shadows. And I'm so open about my trauma. I'll talk about how I was pressured into getting pregnant when I was 17 by my crazy boyfriend. And then I had an abortion, and I was shamed. And I grew up in a Christian community and living in a town where it was not okay to get abortions. And I was made to feel like an awful degenerate teenager. And really I was pressured into it. It was not something that I had chosen to do. And going through that, and going through the domestic abuse that I went through, and wanting to kill myself when I found out that I was pregnant, I really, that was like one of the hardest times of my life. And yet having the strength to make the decision to have an abortion, which I really truly believe saved my life, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I went through that trauma, and that I went through that pain, and I went through that immense hurt, and I broke down to nothingness. And through that, I was reborn. I became a strong, wise, centered, independent, powerful woman that learned compassion and grace and forgiveness and resiliency. And I would not be the woman I am today had I not gone through that pain and that suffering. And so I'm grateful. I see the golden lining in everything. And, not that I would wish that upon myself or anybody else, but yeah, I'm grateful that I had those experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, because that is when we can take those experiences, learn from them, and gain all this wisdom, and realize like, wow, that's what made me who I am. And I'm grateful for that. It changes the game, because you're no longer carrying that picture of that was something traumatic that happened to me. Now it's an experience that I learned from.
Yes.
And that feels way different.
It does. And this is the thing, you know, it's a touchy topic, but the victim mentality, I'm really, really careful when it comes to victim mentality, because I know it's easy to fall into. I could have said, oh, I was pressured and I was this and gaslit and forced. And then I got pregnant and I was the victim of the abuse and blah, blah, blah. And then that could be my story. And I could sit in that pain and that victimhood and being disempowered. And then through the law of attraction, what would I create? Well, I would just create more of that, which I did for quite a while. But then when I evolve through that and I go into the empowered state of being and I see the golden lining and I see the positive aspects and I see how my soul actually called that experience into existence because I needed it. Yep. And my soul chose that experience. Yeah. I am now powerful. I'm now strong. And I'm no longer a victim to that situation or that circumstance. And this has empowered me to be able to share about this and to empower other people that are going through similar situations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another hard one for people to swallow. I chose this. Yeah, not your human self. Your human consciousness did not choose it. So that's an easier thing to swallow, but it is your higher self on another level. Your spirit is choosing a lesson for you to learn in this human existence and this human experience. From that perspective, it looks a whole lot different. It doesn't feel so hard as it is here, but it's important for us to go through because they can see. Our higher aspect can see how important it is for us to go through this step in order to reach our next level of evolution.
Yeah. For me, I got to see, I was in a very abusive, toxic, empath, narcissist type of relationship. And the relationship, I allowed it to empty me out fully and corrupt me from the inside out. And I saw that me getting pregnant and having an abortion was actually the thing that catalyzed me leaving. And it was the one thing that it was like what I needed to save me from what would have happened had I not left. And yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. And I'm going to go even deeper into this because this whole thing blew me away. And it's kind of going far out here. But when I was doing my ayahuasca journey, I actually got to meet my daughter that I would have had. And it turns out that she was me in the future that came back to be with me for that short amount of time. And it was so crazy to meet her soul, which was my higher self in a different time space. And I told myself, or she told me, like, Samantha, I chose to come for that amount of time to support you. So please don't hate yourself. Please don't feel guilty. I knew I was only going to be with you for a few months and I love you. So set yourself free. Oh, I cried for a very long time when that came out. And it was powerful. It was very, very powerful.
Yes. Wow. And that's exactly what I mean by that perspective. They don't see it the way we see it. Like, to them, I'm going to come in for this little bit and I'm going to help her because this is what she needs, and that's it. It just feels so different from the human perspective. But when you can see it from that bird's eye, from that higher perspective of all of it, it changes the game. And now you understand. And now you can let it go. Now it's healed. You understand the whole purpose and you learned. And that's how we heal.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Curable. Curable is an app that takes a different approach to helping people manage and alleviate their chronic pain. I know it's been hard to watch my own father, who I've always viewed as indestructible, become increasingly limited in his movements due to chronic knee pain and having to deal with the frustration of not knowing how to treat it effectively. Fortunately, modern neuroscience is illuminating more and more how chronic pain develops and worsens. Studies show that the brain and central nervous system play a much more significant role in chronic pain than we once thought, and by retraining the brain to process pain differently, we can reduce symptoms and gain more control. So if you're struggling with chronic pain, the Curable app can help you get your life back by guiding you through science-backed techniques designed to help you overcome fear of movement, symptoms, and never getting better. It also offers strategies that can help retrain your brain's response to pain and in many cases reduce the intensity and frequency of symptoms. Curable offers both a free and paid version of the app. If you use our link to sign up and get started with the free version, you'll get 50% off if you ever decide to upgrade to a subscription. Just go to getcurable.com/positivehead to set up your free account. That's spelled GETCurable.com/positivehead.
Yeah. And this is something that a lot of people think, oh, well, that's bullshit. You're, making up these stories to make yourself feel better.
Mm-mm.
And I was raised Christian, Catholic, and I loved everything Jesus had to say. Like, I loved the Bible. I ate that up. Like, I just loved it. I thought I was going to be the best Christian ever and all of that. But what they teach you around abortion and around, how like God is this man in the sky being that controls everything. And he's this mean, judgmental God. And you're going to be sent to purgatory. And like life is only meant to be created by God and destroyed by God. All of that was so heavy. And so I had these old programs and scripts running underneath me, which is why I held on to guilt for so long and shame and blame and resentment and all of the other things. And when I had that experience in my journey, and I also before that had spiritual teachers keep telling me, Samantha, like, it's not what you were taught. It's completely different. But when I got to meet that soul, which was my soul, and hear what she had to say to me, it was so clear and it shifted everything. And that's where the true healing happened. And so, yeah, it's so magical when you tap into spirituality and you tap into the journey of the soul and into what I feel is truth rather than man-made patriarchal control mechanism truth, but actual capital T truth from the universe, from just all that is.
Yes. And that is the real truth. That existence, that eternal existence is what's real. This is just an illusion that we've created to have an experience. That's really all it is. It's funny. I did a session just a few days ago where the person went to the all. And so I got to speak to the all and ask questions to the all for a little while. And that's essentially what I was told about this existence, is that it's just a material creation. So we can experience and feel the emotions because it's totally different there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's really, the practice of alchemy, of transformation, of transmutation, transmuting pain or density into gold. It starts with our wounds. It starts with our pain. It starts with those places where we feel broken or we feel shattered or abandoned or we've abandoned ourselves. And it's looking and seeking to see, well, why would I have chosen that? Like, how is this here for my joy? How can I really move through this and transform this and see that I am God experiencing itself?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm glad you said that because that was another big point of that session. All is, everything is. Everything is everything. All is all. Like this was the conversation I had the other day, and it's so true. And when you can take a step back and look at it from your higher self perspective, because it is all within you. We can all do this. It's not something special, right? It looks a whole lot different. And you can actually see that we are all created in love and we're all connected. And healing is truly just about understanding, really understanding and learning and moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. And letting go. This is something I'm still working on being
That's
really
a hard
good
one.
at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like I'm good at taking in and learning and absorbing and like, but then the releasing I still am working on. And it's a practice, right? Like even I've been coaching and working in this field for 14 years and there's still places where I really get to practice this and this medicine. And so for anyone listening, it's not like you're going to just get it one day and you're just this like perfect, evolved, ascended master, guru, saint, God, creation, perfection of all things. It's like,
so
it's
not happening.
Yeah. It's a daily thing where you commit not to the destination or the goal, but to the journey, journey of being in the remembrance of who you really are, being in this practice, being compassionate, being forgiving, and being aligned to who it is that you choose to be, and have grace and compassion with yourself in this process, because it's not easy. We can talk about it like it's easy, but it's not. It's dirty, it's messy, it's wild. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yes. And I love this journey will always be a journey. The journey has no end. That's all it is a journey. There's no place that we're getting to. I mean, we could say, yes, I'm trying to achieve enlightenment, right? We already have within us on some level, right? So we're just here existing and being, I think that's an easy way to let go, is when you can just float with the current and just, lay back and let it carry you and just go with that flow. You can just let it all go, because you're one with it all, and everything is happening for you all the time. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. And it's more than just a fancy, fun sounding concept. Really like embody it. Where is the next time that you can allow yourself to trust? Somebody reached out to me from the podcast sharing their experience, and they said that they're having their spiritual awakening, and all of a sudden they're just being taken care of, and everything's working out, and they're being led, and they're getting these guidance and messages, and healing's happening, and everything's like falling into place. And she said, Sam, I'm just surrendering, and I'm just trusting blindly. And I'm like, yes, that's courage, that's bravery, that's strength, and it's scary, and yet it's also the most magical thing you can do. And so, really allowing yourself to be supported and led and guided throughout this amazing journey of healing and transcending, and remembering the light that you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell this little story. I already told Sam this the other day, but I think it's very relevant, a little analogy to this conversation. So there's a river about a half an hour from us, and Brian likes to go and dip in, a few days a week in the mornings. And the other morning he went, and he was at this one place where the current was going one direction. And then there was also a small place where it was coming back in the other direction. So he thought, I'm going to get in, and I'm just going to float, and I'm going to just let's see where it carries me. And so he did that. He just laid back, and he trusted that it would take him wherever it needed to go. And when the current stopped carrying him, he came upon this huge feather. It's like a 3-foot feather. And it may be like a blue heron or an egret or something. But the current brought him directly to this feather. And feathers are very special for him. They're very significant in his journey. And so, of course, when he relaxed and let go and just went with the flow and trusted that it would take him where it was exactly supposed to lead him, it did. And he was given the signs and the symbols that he needed for his journey for the day. If we could all just lay back and float and let the current take us, just see what's there once we get there. Yeah. That's a little scary for some, because we want to control and plan and figure it all out. But, it's so much more fun when you don't know. It's like every day is Christmas.
It is. Oh, to that.
Well, do you have anything else to add to this?
It's my birthday in 2 days.
What? Happy birthday.
By the time this is released, it'll have been my birthday, and I'm going to Portugal this week, and it's all just unfolded so beautifully and magically, and I'm just in the flow of it all, and life is manifesting miraculously, beautifully, with bliss, ease, harmony, and grace. And that's exactly what I've been manifesting and tuning in on the inside first. And now I'm seeing it in my outer reality. And so I'm just so excited and grateful. And I I love everybody that's listening to this. We love this community so much, and just so happy that you're a part of our conversations. And it means so much when you reach out and connect. And just very, very grateful.
I love that, Samantha. You trusted, you believed, and now you are enjoying this magical life. So it really is that simple, you guys, with this trust and belief in yourself and in the universe. Yeah. We're going to leave you with a song today. This is Trevor Hall, You Can't Rush Your Healing. Until next time, we love you all.
Love you.
And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style mystic manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.
To me upon the strings, when I hear it, well, I sing. I can't say it's my creation, staying patient what it brings. Let me say I'm coming humble, I don't know what's right or wrong. I just keep on believing, passing down an old song. An old song. Well, everybody's got that chapter of dark and darker days. Saturn seems to be returning and his essence can't be tamed. Well, some we like to fight it, try and plan a secret attack. But the more you push it, the more it's pushing you back. You can't rush your healing. Darkness has its teachings. Love is never leaving. You can't rush your healing. Your healing. Mama will, she told me time is such a wonderful gift. You're not running out, you're really running in. Confusion clouds the heart, but it also points the way. Quiet down the mind, the more the song will play. So you can't rush your healing. Darkness has its teaching. Love is never healing.